Okay, I just hit live.
Unraveling the pattern.
I want to confirm. Oh.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome you.
Unraveling the pattern.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome you.
Unraveling the pattern.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome you.
Unraveling the pattern.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome you.
Unraveling the pattern.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome you.
Unraveling the pattern.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome you.
Unraveling the pattern.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome you.
Unraveling the pattern.
If you want news and rumors.
We're here. I hope that people can hear us. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Unraveling the Patterns live stream, which is better than the Dusty Wheel. I got to get my Dusty Wheel voice going. Hey, everybody, and welcome back.
There you go. That was good.
Was that okay? Was that good?
Yeah.
So excited to be here. You guys, how are you feeling? How's this week been for you? Just a normal week?
Nope.
It's been surreal, hasn't it? It's been incredible. Don't want anyone to feel any FOMO. We're all, according to some rumors, less than 24 hours away, right, from the episodes being out. So
best piece of advice, just don't listen to anybody who says they know. If they say they know, they don't.
But why haven't they just told us? Why isn't it official? It's so weird.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, look, I hope you guys can hear us. I think you can. That's good. Audio is good. Okay. Let me introduce my guests really quick, and then we'll just get into it. I have some thoughts, but mostly I just want to talk about spoiler-free experience and how we got to see the first two episodes and the premiere events that we were at. So, to my right, I guess, is Ryan. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Ryan from The Way They Leaf, and I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah, and what premiere were you at?
I was at the San Francisco premiere.
Awesome. That's the only reason you were invited. No, I'm kidding.
I understand.
It's also because you're awesome. No, I love you. I love you guys. Dan was like,
of the Spear were not available, so you got me.
I wanted to bring Dan on too, but he hasn't seen the episode, so I was like, get out of here.
Yep.
Yeah, right, and who's this on my other side over here?
It's me. I'm Josh from the Black Tower podcast. You may know me from such shows as the Black Tower podcast.
I think I've heard of that.
That makes one of us.
And which premiere were you at?
I was at Denver premiere that was hosted.
Oh yeah, I think I saw you there.
Amazing and astounding Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern.
That was a lot of fun. And below we've got Alyssa. Want to introduce yourself?
I'm Alyssa. I guess officially now I'm One Power Ballads. That's who I am now.
That's a great name.
It's a great name.
Really fantastic people helped come up with that name. But I was also in Denver with the incomparable Lauren, and I got to hang out with Josh, and it was fantastic. And I'm going to stop now because I could just basically go on for 2 hours about how amazing the experience was.
Yes, it really was incredible. I got home and I was like, "Hey, honey, how was your day? Guess what happened?" And then I couldn't stop, for like 2 hours straight. And who is this to your side? We got Lan himself here.
Yes, you may know me as Malkir's King. You might not, but that's
you should.
And I was at the DC screening.
Yes,
I was just there, hanging out.
So didn't even watch the episodes, just was there.
Just practicing sword forms.
Happened to walk by.
So
I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was playing. To be honest, I was just there.
just in the area. Got lucky. Yeah.
You guys hang out here too?
Now I also invited Rob from Weekly Wheel News, and he was on the stream with us, but he says his dog ruined his internet, and so he's trying to connect again. So hopefully he'll rejoin us soon. I think he was at the Seattle premiere. Is that right?
Yes,
that's right.
Correct.
Yes.
I've never heard of somebody whose dog ate their internet before.
Dog. Yeah. That's what you say when you didn't do your
Really didn't
homework.
want to be here.
Well, I wanted
He's gonna
to
be on the way to the vet next time he pops in.
exactly. Oh man, that poor dog. So I wanted to talk really quickly about general reactions. The tricky thing here is, yes, we have all seen the first 2 episodes, right? And yet we don't want to spoil anything. We know that many of the people in the chat have not yet seen the episodes, so we're going to try really hard not to spoil. But that being said, look, some of the things we talk about will be semi-spoilery because we can't help but be excited. We can't help but make some very general allusions to some things, but we're going to try really hard not to give any specifics. So if you're the type of person who just wants 0 spoilers, maybe this isn't the best thing for you, because we're going to be hyped. We're going to be talking about certain things that excited us to some degree. So I'm also really bad at following chat, so I'm going to try to do that, but just at me in chat if you really want to get my attention, and hopefully I'll see that and answer your questions. As far as my channel goes, really quick, I still don't know how I'm going to approach this. I'm so excited to break the episodes down. I think I'm going to take the advice of most of the people in my comments and just take my time as I do. I think in my case, my channel is it's more in depth. And so I think people are going to be willing to watch that, even if it's a little late. I'm not going to be like the Dusty Will and stream the next day or the day of. I'm not going to be like Wad Up and immediately have like an Easter egg video the next day. But I do want to try to break down each individual episode. The funny thing is, I spend so much time on some of my videos. That Wine Spring Inn breakdown video that I did, I hate myself for how much time I spend on that. No, I don't hate myself, but I spent so much time. And then the that huge Eye of the World summary video that I recently released, had such a good time doing that with so many amazing content creators. But that was like 2 months of work, and it was just crazy. And then when I got home from the premiere on Monday, I got out my cell phone and I said, hey, here's some reactions. And I literally just recorded myself for like 5 minutes, totally raw. And that's my #1 video now. So I'm kind of like, what am I doing with my life? Like,
No, you can't stop doing what you do.
I can't.
Sorry.
But I think maybe what I will do is just like an on the fly reaction thing for each episode. Because I think for whatever reason, people want to hear that from me. So we'll keep doing that probably. As far as that one live stream that I promised I would do, where I would do everything in chronological order from every single teaser, it's a little late for that because I've seen the first 2 episodes. So I unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I was very excited to do that. I was planning on doing that last Saturday, but then I ended up working about 80 hours last week so that I could go to the premiere. So yeah, I wasn't able to get to that. So, oh, hey, we got some donations. Thank you guys.
Yeah, you're getting donations already.
Oh, Nerdy Guns, such an awesome supporter. Congrats to you all, and can't wait to hear about your experiences. I might pop off to avoid spoilers, but have fun. Yes, okay, we'll try. Well, especially at first, we're going to talk about just like the events and how much fun it was to meet people. We'll kind of give you a warning when we start talking maybe a little bit slightly more specifically about the episodes and the things we saw. So if you want to at least stick around until we talk about spoilers, we'll let you know. Doviandi, in DC, there were many times the audiences applauded or reacted jubilantly. Did that occur in your locations? We'll talk about that. That's a good question. Let's not forget. We'll shelve that for now. But yes, it was very fun. That was
Wept uncontrollably.
There was crying. There were tears. There were times when people laughed so hard that I couldn't hear the dialogue. I was like, shh, I gotta hear. No, but it was a good thing. It was awesome.
Oh, it was great.
Shushing me.
I was shushing. Yeah, Alyssa. I had Alyssa on one side. No, I wasn't shushing you. It was amazing. Village Mattress, thank you so much. Thanks for filling in for the Dusty Will tonight. Let's all donate to Books for Prisoners. Yes, thank you. Yeah, for every $5 that are donated tonight, I'm going to give at least $1, probably more, to Books for Prisoners. So that's Michael Kramer and Kate Redding's charity. They are so awesome. And if you haven't seen that Eye of the World summary video that I did with a bunch of other content creators, you should definitely check that out. They were really nice to participate in that. They recorded lines from The Eye of the World with their current contemporary voices, and it was chilling and wonderful to
Wow.
hear. So, okay, well, let's just get started. Let's talk a little bit about everything. A lot of reviews have started coming in, haven't they? We've been seeing, especially the negative reviews. They're making the rounds, and some of us as fans feel like our families are being threatened a little bit, don't we? And I personally am a worrier. I worry a lot. I get a lot of anxiety. I was on some really great anxiety meds on Monday, so it helped a lot.
Nice.
But I gotta say, my anxiety is kind of ramping up a little bit, right? Not because, I've seen the first 2 episodes. I loved most of them. There are little things here and there where it's not that I am unhappy with the show, it's that I'm nervous about how people who haven't read the books are going to react. So I'm kind of hoping that you guys can talk me down a little bit, that you guys can calm my nerves and the nerves of some of the people who have read the negative reviews. Josh, let's hear you first. What can you say to calm us down a little bit?
To ease the nerves. Well,
Yeah.
first off, I'd like to just take a deep breath in. No, I think that, first and foremost, I think that the positive reviews outnumber the negative reviews. Okay.
Yes.
So I think that's actually something that's very important to keep in mind. Because keep in mind, there are critics and reviewers out there who make their career giving negative reviews.
Very true.
Like, they just do that. And so it doesn't matter what the quality of the content is, they're going to, and I mean, we've seen this with we were referring to an article just before we started recording. It was just someone was just like going off about the weirdest, most random stuff, and we're like, that doesn't even apply at all. I mean, and these people could arguably probably have not even seen the early screenings, and they just wrote a negative review because they wanted clicks on their thing.
Absolutely.
So
I appreciate you saying that.
Let the show come through, and I think in the long run it's going to be Ben.
Yeah, Shansony, who was also at the Denver premiere, I got to meet her in person. That was an awesome experience. Hi, Shansony, if you're watching. I think I saw you in chat. I saw her say something similar. She said, "Don't forget, negative reviews get more clicks."
Mm-hmm.
So there's almost like this encouragement to be negative, to spin controversy, because they know people like us who are rabid fans we're gonna react. What about you, Matt or Malkir's King? How do you feel about?
Well, I am completely and 100% unconcerned for a number of reasons. The first is that these people who are giving all these negative reviews, like Josh said, they're most likely people who tend to give negative reviews in general. It's very easy to give negative reviews because if you predict that something is going to be bad and then people like it, you haven't lost any face.
Yeah.
But if you predict that something's going to be good and then people don't like it, then people aren't going to trust your judgment.
Yeah.
So giving a bad review is a safe thing to do.
That's
and
interesting.
that being said, looking at people have been going back and forth looking at the Rotten Tomatoes number, and it's about 75% or so, which means that about 3/4 of the reviewers gave it a fresh review, and about 1/4 of them gave it a rotten review. Now, I read some of those reviews, and to me, they looked like they were written by people who were not even watching or paying attention to what they were watching, because they actually some of the details that they quoted were completely wrong.
Right.
It's true.
There was one review said that Matt was a single father trying to provide for his daughter. What?
Wow. Yeah.
And Nynaeve, the daughter of a fisherman, and the previous wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, you're clearly not watching this.
Right.
No.
I was talking about this earlier, but I saw a video review where someone was like, "Yeah, Robert Jordan is really on board with it. He's been consulting on the show." And I wanted to get in there and be like, should somebody tell him? Like,
yeah.
Somebody
but also,
tell him.
like, I actually put out a video this morning. You put out your video of your reactions. I recorded people's reactions after the show on Monday night.
Oh, cool.
And I edited it and I threw it out this morning. That also is my highest watched video by far. Not that any of my other videos have the quality of your videos, but the same time.
They're awesome though.
Um,
I mean, you take your shirt off in some of them. That
that
immediately
I
takes the
take my shirt off
quality
in
up.
most of them.
That's good.
Um,
That's good.
but I got reviews from people who had never read the books and from people who have read the books, and even the people who'd never read the books, they loved it.
Good.
There
Yeah.
wasn't a single person who I spoke to who did not love it and is not planning to watch the rest of them. Like everyone
That's
was
awesome.
really hooked. So
Epic.
I know there are some negative
You
reviews.
guys, my blood pressure is going down. I appreciate this a lot. This is good. I have to say, and I don't worry, we'll get to all of you, I promise. And hey, welcome, Rob. We told them a little bit about
Hi.
your internet going
Yeah,
out.
welcome back.
Welcome. Well,
Yeah.
We also did get another donation.
oh, there was
Lauren.
another
I don't know if
donation.
you
Thank
saw
you.
that.
Oh, Brando, yes, $20. Amazing content. Can't wait to see what you go with for episode breakdowns. Yeah, me too. Who knows? Who knows what I'm gonna do? Whatever my crazy brain comes up with.
Sorry, Ryan Hamilton in chat said that one of the reviews said that Moraine got her powers from her ring.
Oh, I heard that. I heard
Yeah,
that.
so, like, these are clearly not people who had any interest in this to begin with.
That's kind of interesting though, because just from the teasers we've seen with him taking the ring, it's kind of interesting. It's like, oh,
Yeah, that is interesting.
maybe that's where the
That's
power
a
comes
very
from.
lazy take.
It's very lazy. Yes. I wanted to tell a quick story. So when I was in high school, this will date me a little bit, but when I was in high school, Star Wars Episode 1 was released. And I was so excited. I mean, I think most of us were. We loved the original trilogy. Anyway, long story short, you couldn't reserve theater seats back then. We waited in line for a week, my friends and I, literally a week. Now, they didn't let us stay there at night, so we brought this crusty old couch that we got from like a thrift store or something, and we sat it out in front of the theater, and we would just arrive there during the day. We skipped school for a week. It was one of the coolest, most nerdy experiences of my life. But there was
waited in line for a week for trade route.
yeah, exactly. So this is what I'm trying to get to. So, but the thing is, there was one guy who was there for a month, and he had an RV in the parking lot, and I thought he was the coolest guy in the world. I realize now he was probably homeless. The guy probably didn't have the best life, but
Did he give you the couch?
no, he didn't. But
Live
here's
by
the
a
thing.
river?
It was the coolest experience, and
By
I ended
the
up
river.
down by the river. I went and I bought 3 tickets and watched episode 1 3 times that first day. The first showing was like right at midnight, and then you did that too, Rob. So
Yeah, I did that too.
so here's the thing. It was an amazing experience. The energy of the crowd, the reactions of everybody, the fact that we had been waiting for a week and talking about it for a week and speculating what those things were in the trailers, like it was a magical moment. Well, a few years went by and everyone loved to hate episode 1 in particular, right? Myself included. I was kind of like, yeah, that wasn't the best movie, was it?
Nope.
I remember that guy who was in line for a month. I remember him literally crying at the end of it because he was so overwhelmed with joy. Like it was a really cool experience. So I'm sitting at the theater on Monday. We watched the episodes and I am feeling the energy of the crowd. And then it dawned on me, I cannot be objective about this. I just can't. I'm too close to it. I'm too invested in it. And so I love hearing that people who weren't fans of the books, people who haven't been following everything religiously like we have, are also positive. That was a long story. Just say thank you, Malkier's King, for sharing your story. Ryan, what did you want to say?
I was gonna say I've seen a couple tweets going out where people have gone with non-readers and getting a universally positive response from them.
That's great.
Yeah,
Did
my
get another
wife.
donation.
Was there another? You guys
Get,
are awesome. You're better than I am.
Oh my gosh.
Troy Say Care says a donation for all the single dads like Matt.
Thank you so much, Troy, and thank you all. If I didn't say thank you before, really appreciate it.
But Lauren, I came in sharing your anxiety, worried that I'm just going to be. I mean, I was like weeping like through a good 55% of it. So I'm not objective at all, and I was worried that it's not going to be like understandable. They seem to be going so fast. We cover so much ground. Or people really is it going to be like everyone I know who didn't read Game of Thrones and watch Game of Thrones didn't understand what the hell they were watching.
Yeah,
and like needed someone who was a reader to like tell them what was going on scene by scene. So much is going on. So I had a lot of the same anxieties, but I think it was just so good. I'm subdued, and,
Good.
and I'm feeling very positive also.
Excellent. Alyssa, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, you have anxiety. I have righteous fury when I read, when I read those when I read those negative reviews. That one by the I know I've talked about this, but that was it Rachel Cook or something. I wrote a scathing response on Twitter, and I was like, no. I need to represent the fandom in a good and supportive way, and not
Unleash
call her
Balefire.
naughty names and tell her her work is tripe and awful. But yeah,
Someone did that, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm sure many people.
it was Alyssa under a secret account. By the way, we got two more
I actually
donations.
did it and then deleted it because I was like, no, I have to be a good representative. But so I'm like, wow, I always thought I was a blue, but maybe I am a green. But yeah, so but I've calmed down a little bit, and now I just don't read those because I don't need to, because I know what I think about it, and I know that I'm going to be telling everyone to watch it, and the people who I actually care about and will associate with will like it.
Yeah, it's
or
true.
I won't associate with them anymore.
Nice.
Just kidding.
We did get two more donations. Let me
Aw.
scroll up here. Benjamin Battenhausen got to be at the LA screening, and it was amazing. Loud clapping and cheering for an entire minute after the second episode ended. I brought my friend who knew nothing, and he loved it too. That's awesome.
Great.
Love to hear that. Thank you,
Yeah,
Benjamin.
any of those types of stories, put those in the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Help Lauren out.
Christopher Rubach said, number one, better reviewed than both The Witcher and Carnival Row. That's interesting.
Oh,
Number two, the critics are only got episodes 1 through 6. That's true, but also I'm jealous. Number three,
Yeah.
Eye of the World is the most difficult book to adapt. That is also a really good point. Eye of the World in particular, it's an interesting start, isn't it? And
That's a lot of walking.
that's a lot of walking. Okay, so we haven't heard Rob.
Well-
We haven't heard you yet. We want to hear. Talk me off the ledge. Like, how can you subdue my anxieties about how the world at large is reacting?
Okay, so I went with my wife and my daughter, who's 24, and then our two teens, and they had not read before. Like my son's read like a couple, 3-4 chapters. You know, he hasn't got that far into it yet, but they all had really good reactions to it. They thought it was great. You know, they said it was pretty easy to follow along, and you know, really action packed and stuff like that. And so I think personally, and this is my critical eye, like I really kept the like, that's not in the book, that's in the book, that's not in the book. You know, I kept that silent. You know, kept that inward monologue, right? Going into it, I had a lot of anxiety, but that was because I was like hosting and having to get up in front of the crowd, and I didn't know how it was all going to pan out.
Right.
And I'm usually pretty good in front of people these days, but just like not feeling prepared, like kind of masked my righteous fury, I guess. But I thought it was I thought that both episodes were really good. The pacing was really fast, and I know, Lauren, you have talked about how that is kind of a concern, you know, for you. You felt that it was too rushed. I think that coming from an adaptation standpoint, because I really like lean away from comparing it to Game of Thrones, I would compare this more to the Lord of the Rings adaptation, in that, you know, how they had to take the story and adapt it and move things around and stuff like that, but keep the pacing, because just like Fellowship of the Ring, there's a whole lot of walking, right? Like, and that would really get boring in a show or on the screen or in a film. And so I think that the way that the writers handle the story and put it all together in such a pace really makes me feel good about what they're doing. There were changes, you know, like we've all said, there were changes. We haven't said what they were because it's spoilers, right? But I think that for the most part, the changes were all for the better and for the pacing of the story, or to, you know, really flesh out some of the stuff that RJ really didn't go into that much in the book. So we've all kind of been like, you know, well, how can this happen and how can that happen? You know, like, how is it just convenient that all these people are there and that kind of stuff? You know, like just those kind of things that we kind of poke fun at in the story that we love. You know, I think that a lot of those things were handled really well for just the first two episodes that we saw, right? Like, you know, I can't speak for anything else because I haven't seen anything else, but I'm feeling really good about it, and like I'm sold on what Rafe's doing. I think that it's amazing. I think that it's different, but that's good because it gives us, more things to theorize about, like, which we all geek out about, more things to speculate, more things to, go back and rewatch again and again and again
Right.
and discover.
Well, so, and we have all seen it. I've had conversations with people who have seen it. Rob and I talked on the phone today, and we were able to talk a little bit about some of those speculations and things. It was the best. It was like back when the novels were still fresh and we were waiting for the next one, and we would just talk about all these ideas. I'm so excited about that element of it.
That's really what it's like, though, isn't it? It in some ways it's, because we talk a lot about the experience that the readers had versus the experience that the TV show fans are going to have, and it's going to be relatively the same experience. They're going to be able to say what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next?
Shorter time
brand new.
span.
It's brand new.
But we will have a year between seasons, right? And there's going to be a lot of speculation while that happens.
So I will say this, as far as when I compared it to Lord of the Rings, I'm not saying that just because I'm a fan of the books, I'm automatically going to love the show, because there's a couple things that I didn't agree with and a couple things that made me sad, even overnight. And I'm still just like, oh, how come they did that? It hurts my heart, but in the bigger picture, I can see why they did it, and I think that they're good choices. But as far as adapting a story to the screen, I think that Lord of the Rings was done very, very well. I think The Hobbit was absolutely horrible. And so I'm not going to say just because I get to see something on the screen that I loved in the pages of a book is automatically awesome, because that's not always the case. Right. And so I'm trying to be, not a total fangirl about it, but I'm, have some levity, have some, some restraint, and you really look at it from a critical eye, and how I can make fun of it in my upcoming issues.
That's also what it's fodder for more amazing articles. I can't wait for that.
I can't wait till we get back to Alida. That's all I can say.
Alyssa.
If you don't believe that, you are dog friend.
Sorry.
Just really quick. Sorry. Do you mind if I just very quickly?
No.
So I actually just started a raffle. I'm going to give away something cool. I'm thinking I didn't bring it down here. So sorry. I promise, Alyssa, we'll get to you. When I was at the airport on my way back, I was like, oh, I wonder if, the airport bookstore is selling The Eye of the World. And I looked at it, and it was in the top sellers. And it was so exciting to see the Amazon Prime version of the book. I did not get one in my little gift package like some of the people did, but I was like, I'm buying one of these. So I'm going to ship that to whoever wins this raffle. So this raffle is going to go on for 10 minutes or so. Everyone make sure you type in !raffle. And then it looks like every time someone votes, it tells you, good job, you did it. So
we do also have 5 more donations.
Oh, and there are a bunch of, let me scroll up a little here.
Gray Aja Sitter is where we left off.
If you want to read them off, Josh, please.
Sure. Gray Aja Sitter gave $10 and said, Taishar hosts. Taishar, Gray Aja Sitter. It was fantastic seeing you all shine at your various premieres. No, Gray Aja Sitter, you are the shiny one. Wait. Sarah Lee gave $10 and says, you guys rock. I teared up watching your reactions, and I cannot wait for Saturday, Friday, your time. Lucky. Ting Taiji, I am so sorry if I mispronounced that. I probably did. Gave $20. So thank you for all the hard work and time you put in for building such a positive and welcoming community. I worry about the minor changes that don't seem necessary. Could you calm me down? Well, Ting Taiji, I hope that by the end of this, you feel nice and calm and happy again. Mr. Howley dropped $22 and said, for the hours left and the joy you bring me with your video, tie sharp pattern. Oliver's Ears had $10 hiding behind him and said, so glad you all enjoyed the shows. My wife is a non-reader and is looking forward to it for my sake. That is a keeper right there, my friend.
Nice. Good wife.
And then Miss Sarah James, $20. There's a very zen, chill mood in the fandom, it feels like to me, even among those that are waiting for their first look at the show. Thank you all, Unraveling the Pattern, panel, and chat for being here so we can share this together. Thank you.
It's Sarah James. Thank you. And all of you. Thank you so much. You're
I'm gonna
Awesome.
cry again.
I know.
I
Oh,
know,
looks like
that's
there's another
crazy.
one here too. Vixen.
Yeah, there's
Dark Fairy. Gratitude for this collab. Oh, good. Thank you. I should do this more often. This is fun.
Lauren, the people love you.
I know. I don't know why.
And then in Denver, he's like, "Oh, I'm just some
Maybe
guy." I'm
because
like,
you're
"Would you
awesome."
stop?"
I love the self-deprecating humor, but I also do have issues. Okay, Samuel Samuel Sparrow.
That's the first
Love.
step.
Thank
This
you. He said, "Thank you so much for everything you all put out. Read it through for the first time last year. Awesome. Got me through a deployment. Wow. And have nerded out ever since. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
That's really
And thank you
cool.
for your donation. Then there's another one. You guys, they just keep coming. Where I missed it. I think I scrolled past it.
James McClellan. I imagine we might not get the Eye of the World itself, or we'll get pieces of it.
Hmm.
Like, will we get the certain entity speaking to a certain someone?
Hmm.
I have it on very good authority that there are people who speak to other people in the TV show.
Yeah, well, that's spoiler territory. So
So did
Oh, God.
anybody hear about the technical issues that we had in San Francisco?
no, so that's actually thank you for saying that. But I want to make sure we let Alyssa say her thoughts because she's been holding on
Oh,
to
yeah.
them. But after that, I want to just hear briefly, like 2 minutes each. What was your experience like at the event? What was it like meeting the people, and how was the energy? No spoilers. And then after that, we'll talk a little bit more about our impressions and so if people are a little more concerned about those types of spoilers, they can go after that. So Alyssa, go ahead and share your thoughts, and then Ryan will let you share your experience.
Well, now I'm thinking about all those things you just said. But what I was going to say earlier is that because I think we were sort of talking about this, but about the pacing issue, and I think that as readers, I think it might have seemed even more abrupt to non-readers because we know all the pieces that may be missing and all the things that were fleshed out in the books. So it might seem to move even faster to us because we're like, oh, what about this and what about that? And obviously those can't be in there. So I was thinking like, oh, it seemed kind of rushed, but maybe like 50% less rushed than it actually was.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's a really good point, and that's something that I'm looking forward to kind of hearing from others who aren't as connected as I said, who aren't so into it. Because you're right, I was thinking, oh, why did they do that? Well, that has significance later for that character in 3 books, or why did they leave that little bit out? That's really important for later, that kind of stuff. And so it did feel rushed for that reason. Maybe the pacing was great, and it was just me.
Or maybe we're old, and the younger generation will love it.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Maybe.
slow
Or
down.
maybe they're taking advantage of all of the various POVs that we have in the books, and they're pulling a Witcher and they're just jumping back and forth.
Yes. So that's something I also want to talk about, but that might be slightly spoilery, so we'll save that for later. But I do get the sense that we may be seeing some flashback scenes to fill in certain gaps. We can talk about that more. Ryan, you were in, where were you again? San Francisco.
In San Francisco.
Let's hear it. How was it?
And like I imagined everyone else's showing started on time. We were late, which was classic. And then it starts, and there's no dialogue.
What?
It was the weirdest thing. It was like a Foley lesson where you could just only hear feet walking on floors and horse hooves.
Oh, weird.
And wind. And then when people were like talking to each other, it looked like it was like an anime movie with someone took the dialogue out. So it got fixed quickly, but we missed the entire opening sequence of.
Oh, they didn't
episode
rewind?
1. No. Then they all started chanting like restart.
Oh no!
Oh
And-
no!
Wait, did you get to see it though? Did you get to see it fixed?
They fixed it,
But they didn't rewind it.
restart it.
Oh,
we didn't,
so
we
that-
did not get a rewind.
That first scene was interesting.
Okay,
Go-
no spoilers, but that first scene I thought was awesome.
I agree.
And it did a whole lot of world building in just like a couple minutes. And
That's
it was
fine.
really
Yes.
impressed.
With the dialogue not happening,
Alyssa.
it looked silly. And I was making jokes like, wow, Rafe's a real pioneer. It's a silent film, guys. And like, but yeah. But then I think
He's going back to the original roots of cinema.
There you
Like,
go.
yeah. He's like,
Waiting
wow,
for
he's-
the text bubble to pop up. Aha!
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
That's crazy. Yeah, the technical issues. When we got there, they were like, well, there's a lot of security around this, and I don't know how projectionists and all that work these days. They used to actually get film canisters, and the projectionist had to do a lot of calibrating and setting all that up. Now I assume they're getting some sort of hard drive or digital device of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But they said there's a lockbox on this thing and it has a key, but it has a timer on it and it cannot be unlocked until 5 o'clock. And so we tried unlocking it and it can't be unlocked. And the lady who was there was like, "Oh, it should have unlocked sooner than that. You should have more time." So anyway, they were like, "Well, we'll
Makes
test
sense.
everything out right at 5 when we can unlock it, and then we'll let people in at 5:30 and we'll start at 6, hopefully, assuming everything works." But then she was like, "Well, I have a backup Blu-ray disc of it." And I was like, I wanted to be like, "Can I maybe have?" Well, I did ask, didn't I, Alyssa? I was like, "Can I just take that afterwards, please?" And of course, she was like, "No, that's not happening." But that was luckily everything worked. The calibration worked, and we were able to watch
What's
it.
wrong with you?
I was like, you don't need that, right?
My microphone wouldn't turn on,
Oh,
and they weren't able to fix it until the lights had already turned off. So I was standing at the front of the theater in the dark giving my introduction.
nice.
Nice.
That's
People
great.
could still hear me, which was the important thing. But
Yeah.
I think my favorite was in Denver, and I'm sitting in my seat, and Lauren's up on stage, and he's talking, doing his thing, and Alyssa's over there. She's recording him, being like a super awesome, like
Because we got to sneak our phones in.
sidekick. and then Lauren's like, and then here's my co-host Alyssa. She's like, I'm recording this, and then starts talking. It was great. It was beautiful.
That was fun. All right, Rob, what about you? What was it like in Seattle? I saw your video that you posted today. That was a lot of fun. Look, like running down the line.
Just a little bit before this, then I got the video from the actual the presentation, and so
cool.
I'll put that online so you guys can see that too. But we didn't have any technical issues, and we also didn't have any crowd control issues. It turns out, like, when they let the people to the theater, I was like, wow, there's a lot of people. Are people still out there and stuff? But she said, well, the theater fits about, I think, 230, and we have about 220. And so it was really cool because, like, some of the people who worked at the movie theater, who I was talking to afterwards, like especially this one guy, been working there a long time, and he had always wanted to see this, but like he had to work, and so he was like bummed out. But then so they let him come in and watch it because they had
awesome.
a couple of seats left, and so we didn't have to turn anybody away at the door. That was fine. And it was just really fun. I didn't get to schmooze with the crowd as much as you did. I think, Lauren, I saw, like, or you did, Matt, like when you were talking, going up down the line, and had John from What Up on the that was awesome.
That is so cool. Yeah.
I'm so bummed that they didn't have anything in Canada so that you can do that. So
Same.
Pour one out for
I was gonna get a cardboard cutout of his face and bring it on something and take him around with me, but I didn't have the time to make it.
Well, so we didn't have any technical issues. I thought I was going to run out of time because they said that I could do some giveaways and stuff, and so a bit before it started, then I went in there, and James from JordanCon was with me, and we put out a bunch of like prizes underneath the chairs, so that, like, if not every chair, but like there was a lot. So I put Frosty mugs all over the place and all that kind of stuff.
That's so cool.
And so and then I had like a huge box of t-shirts, and my son plays baseball, so he's got an arm because I don't. And so he was down there helping me, and so I'll show you this on the video when I post it. But he's out there chucking the t-shirts out to the crowd, and they're all, and it was awesome. It was so fun.
Cool.
And then the coolest thing was, like, I got the whole crowd to say Taishar Amazon, like, right at the end. Like,
That's
I totally
great.
Post
That's
that.
great. Yeah,
Nice.
for sure. That's so good. Yeah, I've been to a few fan events, like, locally. I was lucky enough I lived very close to Brandon Sanderson when he finished the series, so I went to the midnight release parties for the last 3 books, and that was the first time where I was like, oh, there are other Wheel of Time fans in the world. Like, that was such a cool thing to see and experience. But I was also much younger, and I had a very young family at the time. This time, going to this event, I've never been able to go to JordanCon. I'm so excited to go this next year, and WotCon. It's going to be so fun. But it was just such a cool experience to be there and to meet all these amazing people and to have all this love of this series in common. I couldn't stop walking up and down the line and chatting with people because it was just so much fun to interact with other fans and loved it. What about you, Alyssa? How was it for you?
That's the same thing. It's exactly the same. I haven't been able to go to any other events yet. I'm going to Jordan Con. I'm super excited, but it's been 28 years that I've been reading this, and it was amazing to meet people, like real people, live, like
Right.
shake their hands and hug them, and just kind of have that, they understand where I'm coming from. Plenty of other people, like my family, they put up with it, and they're like, "Oh, that's so cute. You like those books," but they don't understand it at quite the level as everybody that was there, and it was just the most amazing experience. Of course, it was awful that people were turned away, but so for us, we were told, get there around 5, but I think we were there at like 1 or 2.
Right.
We figured people were going to get there, and we wanted to spend time with them, and we did, and it was
Right.
incredible. So it was just great to meet people, and have that energy was crazy, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just
it was
really
great.
special.
I hope that we can do other showings like this over the course of the show, where we can just get together in different cities and do this, because it was a really special experience. And I hope that I don't want everyone who's in chat to have serious FOMO here. You were there with us in spirit, and we
For sure.
felt so excited for you to see all of this. We can't wait, of course, but it was a really special experience. I don't know, maybe people like Matt are used to this by now, but and I mean Matt from the Dusty Will, but yeah. But Matt Malkier's King.
different Matt.
Yeah, different Matt.
There are way too many Matts in this.
Too many Matts. Does anyone else? I mean, we could talk about the event and the people. I loved it. I also felt so terrible having to turn people down. As a matter of fact, 5 minutes before I was supposed to be up on stage, I just ran out and apologized to every single person in line. I was like, I am so sorry. I would give you my ticket if I could. I wish there was something we could do. I wish Amazon would do a second screening, And to be fair, the agency that we worked with that set up a lot of this event, they really appreciated to hear that feedback that we want more screenings next time. So they said they're going to pass that back on to Amazon, because I don't think it was anyone's fault. They obviously wanted to fill the seats, but they only paid for one event, one screening, and so maybe in the future we'll get to expand it a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe we'll do this for season 2, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I've missed a bunch of donations, but
although
there have been a few.
We need a lot more locations, though. We need one in every state at least.
I do want to say I felt it a little bit questionable to set out a bunch of tickets and then say first come first serve.
It is a little weird, isn't it?
That's I thought that was like kind of creates like the whole experience of people waiting in line and disappointedly not getting in. I think that's kind of avoidable. I thought that was maybe a regrettable decision on their part.
Yeah,
well,
that's fair.
I understand why they did it, but I think they did not understand the Wheel of Time fandom. These are people who do these kinds of programs all the time, and so they have experience of hundreds of events where they want to make sure the entire event is completely full, and they know that a certain number of people aren't going to show up, so they overbook knowing that a certain percentage isn't going to show. But I don't think they counted on the fact that these are Wheel of Time fans.
Right.
A much smaller percentage
for 30 years.
Right.
A much smaller percentage of people are going to flake out on this than on your typical.
I agree. And there were some people who literally, they just got off work. They rushed down as quickly as they could. And by then it was too late. And that was really unfortunate.
Poor Daniel. He had that experience in LA.
Oh, he did.
At the DC event, there were people lining up from, I think, 1:30. Right. And this is Eastern, so doors didn't open until 7.
Oh, wow.
See, in Seattle, they said, so ours was from, the opening thing was like from 4 to 5. And they said you'd start line up at 3, but not before that, and so you're only, and maybe because it was indoors, the theater is at the top of the mall, like top story of the mall. And so you're not waiting out on the street. Maybe they could control that a little better. But I thought that was interesting how they kind of said. So I tried to broadcast that out ahead of time. Like they said, don't show up at until 3 o'clock, and so don't be too disappointed, but just want to set expectations.
Yeah,
we had a lot of really cool cosplayers. Did you guys see?
Yes,
a lot of somebody left this spear. And so if this is yours and you want it back, get in touch with me.
If
so
this is yours and
funny.
you want it back, you can't have it.
I'm gonna ask if you're feeling
take the piss.
threatened, Rob.
It's
Yeah,
Rob's now.
the cosplay was one of the best parts of this.
I agree. Alyssa, you dressed up.
I did.
You want to talk a little bit about
Sure.
your
Josh?
cosplay?
Super awesome.
And Josh,
outfit.
yeah.
You should
Let's-
tell us, Josh, about your suit and your jacket.
Okay, so I I'm thinking to myself, Ashtaman wear black, and I had made the quip a couple days earlier that the devil may wear Prada, but Ashtaman wear Armani, and it just so happens that I have an Armani jacket that was a gift, and it was their
A gift.
It was a
spring
gift. It was a gift.
Damascus.
Did it say Wheel of Time on it?
It does not. Thanks for rubbing salt in that wound.
Hey,
No,
I have
but
the same wound, my friend.
it's got this really crazy funky texture on it. It looks really cool.
Really cool.
And so I put that on. I put my dragon and sword pin on my collar and ran around in a black suit with an Armani jacket. It was a lot of fun.
We saw a Gleeman cloak. We saw everyone looked so on point. We saw a lot of your t-shirts, Rob, from
Yeah,
That's
from
true.
newcreationsbyjen.com. I took a few
Yeah,
pictures of those.
I saw a few people sporting those. I ran into Seth from Watch Spoilers in the
Oh,
line. He's sporting his epic Gleeman cloak. If you guys have ever seen that, it's
Yes.
freaking amazing.
So
And
cool.
So definitely check that out, Jordan Con. If you're
Studying time with Anna. She had made the most crazy crossover, you guys. It was a Matt Rain. Is that how she was?
Yeah.
Yes.
She had Matt's hat, but she'd made like a Moraine outfit, but it also had a wedding knife, and it was just the cool. She had a
Oh, wow.
tiny loyal with an actual teeny tiny copy of Eye of the World.
Eye of the World.
It was
It-
incredible.
yeah, he had like a little basket with books in it, and Eye of the
It
World
was
there.
so
yeah.
amazing.
That's really funny.
And I
Uh,
wore my cloak, which is a kind of a cool story. If we have 2 seconds for me to tell my cloak story.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Yes.
So when I was in high school, I had one friend who'd read the books, and he was a really cool guy. And he, for my 18th birthday, coordinated with my grandma to make me a stout Two Rivers wool cloak. So I've had that for
wow.
22 years or
so
whatever.
cool.
And
That's so neat.
it's super special because my grandma's not with me anymore. So when I wear
Aw.
my cloak, it's like a big hug, and I don't know, it's
That's
just really
so
cool.
great. I didn't know that. That's
It's
awesome.
actually made of wool.
It's an amazing
Rivers
belt.
wool.
Is it stout wool?
It is stout wool.
It's pretty stout.
I have missed so many donations. I'm so sorry, you guys. Jane Farstrider, thank you. Hope Rafe and team masters the story. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. And boy, time sure does fly. I was actually planning on trying to end this right at the hour mark, but we may go over a little bit.
Oh, I'm ready.
I
you
got
know me.
kids like being babysat by Netflix right now. Wine slushy,
Oh, let
thank
us-
you.
let it
So great
go.
to meet you in Denver.
We won't tell Amazon. Don't worry.
Yeah, so great to meet you in Denver. Your videos are amazing. Oh, thank you. I assume they're talking about one of you guys. I started reading when I was 14,
Yes,
and my
they're
daughter
talking
went.
about you.
My daughter went with me to the premiere on her 14th birthday. Oh, that's so cool. I think I remember
that's
meeting you and you telling me that. That's so neat. She loved it. So excited for her to join this awesome community. Yes, 14. That's when I got hooked as well. It's awesome. Marty Beck, love you all. I really needed this therapy. Oh, good. I'm glad. Let's see. Were there any others? Let's see. We got
You got
Jan Parema. If the information is correct, exactly in 24 hours from now, we have seen 3 episodes. Just need to get up at 2 a.m. to see them. Yeah, it's true. If it really is being released at midnight GMT, for me, that's 5 p.m. on Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my plan is go straight to episode 3, then rewatch 1, 2, and 3. So
Thursday is tomorrow.
tomorrow,
Tomorrow.
less than 24 hours for us. That's amazing. I hope that that's true, that it releases the same time across the world. If I missed anyone else, I apologize. Thank you so much for your donations. It means the world to me. And I'm so thankful for everyone. And, another part of this was I wanted to just celebrate 12,000 subscribers. I was going to do a 10,000. I was going to do a 10,000 subscriber live stream. And then I got 2,000 more in the last 6 weeks. And I am so thankful. So thank you all.
Wow.
What an amazing, everyone has different reasons. Thank you guys. Everyone has different reasons why they do YouTube. I love making videos. I love the Wheel of Time. I hope to one day be able to do this full time. And so you guys are helping me with that. I really, really appreciate it. Every little bit helps. So thank you. Anyway, it's not about me. Let's just really briefly, now's the point when we're going to talk. We're not going to talk spoilers as in specifics, but we are going to get a little bit more granular, right? So, general reactions. Where, scale of 1 to 10, Ryan, how do you feel about it so far? What you've seen?
Oh, at a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, however you want. However you want to do it.
No, I like arbitrary scales. Let's go 9.3.
Ooh.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on why it's not a 10 out of 10?
Ooh.
Without spoiling.
Without
Yes.
spoiling. Good luck. Yeah.
My issue, I'm a stickler for dialogue and acting. And so if I feel like a scene is not really hitting it with the dialogue or the delivery, I'm taken out of the moment. And so I felt that there were just a couple of times where I cringed a little bit and said, man, a couple more takes could have probably gotten us a better result. So that's why I give it the 0.7 off.
And it was such a weird choice that whole first scene, there was no dialogue, right, for you. So since you care about dialogue so much, and they didn't get to have it.
I'm not, that did not go into my rating, but yeah, that was a weird pickup.
That was a great scene, the opening scene. Anyone else? Josh, what are your thoughts? Overall, how did you feel about it?
And it's funny that, we're talking about dialogue, and Ryan, maybe you can back me up or discredit. But one of the things that I thought were the most powerful when it came to dialogue was the unspoken dialogue.
Yes.
Like the body language and chemistry of these actors.
Yes.
Just on point.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Even in the teaser trailers, it felt like there was more chemistry between Egwene and Rand than in any of the books, right? I really got that sense with all the characters. It was great to see them kind of bounce off of each other and interact with each other. Someone interviewed Daniel Henney and asked him, what's it like playing someone who's so stoic all the time? And he talked about how that's actually quite a challenge as an actor to do that. I thought he did a fantastic job. I have to say, and I said this a little bit in my reaction video, of all of the things that happened in the episodes, any minor criticisms I had, the thing that I felt they did the best was capturing the characters, at least for me. Like, these actors, to me, I feel like they really know the characters they're portraying. And I feel like the writers, especially Rafe, they want to be true to the characters. Are all the situations the same as the books? No. Did they skip some things that we might find important? Yes, in certain situations. But man, to me, they really captured the characters.
Mm-hmm. Someone had a super chat earlier and asked which actor or which character changed our headcanon now. Like, which are we moving forward? And I think we can answer that without spoiling, right? If you just think about everyone we've seen in the teasers, for me, it was sadly Matt.
I have to, and there have been some really positive reviews that say Matt is the standout. Barney Harris is the standout, and I am just like even more heartbroken over the fact that we won't get to see him, possibly even past episode 6 from some rumors, right? So
I think he just nailed every scene that he was in, and what they're doing with his story is just, I think it's amazing.
Agreed.
100%.
So no spoilers, but there are changes there. You've probably heard about the changes, but I think that for the story, and I think like it takes his character to a whole new level, and Barney has just done an amazing job. In the first couple of scenes, I was telling my wife, we went to dinner afterward, and she said, like what were some of the changes that you were surprised by? And I was like, well, they've his arc and stuff, it's different. And we got a hint of that through some of the interactive stuff that Amazon Prime put out ahead of time. So we kind of had some questions like, wait, what do you mean? Like he came from a rough home or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Like, so those kind of things were there, but I think that it's adding like so much dimension to his character, because in the book, I was telling her that you really take until book 3 before you can kind of like really appreciate Matt's character, right? Because like first he's just kind of a whiny sidekick, and then he's Dagger Matt, and
he's poisoned,
and but then he's good. But I think like the way that they're doing the story now, like from the first episode, I am like sold. I'm like, I'm not crying, you're crying, like,
Yeah,
Well,
totally.
it was,
and I think
love
Marcus
it.
Rutherford was the one who was saying on the blue carpet that they've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So a lot of these changes that we're seeing, and again, I'm trying to like skim the top here. A lot of the changes that they employed were very specifically to give us the emotional backstory to
Mhm.
these characters. So it's interesting, when you're in math class in junior high and they go, well, I don't know how you did that, but you got the right answer still.
Right.
Mhm.
Think of it like that. Your teacher told you to do it one way. The book said, this is why Perrin is the way he is. The TV show says, this is why Perrin is the way he is. But they still come to the exact same conclusion as to who those characters are.
I love that. That's a great thought.
I was going to take that even a step further. The books don't really explain why Perrin is this quiet, gentle giant, why he's always so slow and methodical. It doesn't explain why Matt is the prankster and the reluctant hero.
It's a good
And
point.
Rafe's like, I'm gonna give you a reason.
That's a really good
Yeah.
point. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys, you're making me
and I-
feel so good. You're making me feel so. Alyssa raised her hand like
No,
10
it's
minutes
fine.
ago.
I don't want to make you feel bad. I completely understand all that analogy. It's perfect. I understand the reason behind the changes and the additions that might have been made. I do still I'm a book purist, I guess now, but I think that was a little bit not having a lack of faith in the audience or the actors to get to those places without changes in the story. I don't think they were necessary. I don't think they're bad. And I think they do move things faster. I'm not 100% sold on a couple of those storylines as being necessary to give that depth of character. I think they could have gotten there without those changes. But I still love it. I'm still like 9.9 out of 10.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah.
The thing about Perrin has so much internal monologue that drives your understanding of his character that you just can't have in the show.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
true.
And he's
and
great at
also-
sort of I felt Marcus's performance. There were so many moments where they would cut to him and he wouldn't say anything. I really appreciated that because he really did emote well.
right.
Yes.
Like you could hear paragraphs of dialogue going on in his head just
Yeah.
like in a quick glance. I think that the way that they the way that they're approaching his, why he has the inner conflict that he has, I think, again, being careful to not spoil anything, but I particularly remember, I think it was an episode of Soccer and Riog, and I think that Tom was talking about like how they could really, explain visually the, why Perrin has such a conflict between the axe and the hammer, like constantly, because you see that he goes like emo on both sides, but then you never really know why. And I think that the story that Rafe gave him, like his, here's why. I think, originally I was not too excited, but I think that I'm sold. I think it's a good decision.
Yeah, so a couple things have
I
come
may
to
have
mind
spoiled
as
something.
no, you're okay. A couple things that have come to mind. We've heard a lot of rumors. We've heard crazy things about Perrin's marital status. We've heard things about Matt's backstory. Those rumors have been out forever. I went in a little bit apprehensive about that, and I have to say that the way that some of those things were handled, I thought were better than how I had imagined it in my mind. And I think that, as has been said, there is a purpose to it. I actually reached out to Juliet Howland, who plays Natty Cawthon, on Twitter today, and I just said, "You are so wonderful. You did such a fantastic job. You really sold your character. I was so impressed, but I was also not expecting this from your character, and I'm kind of sad that it was not how I expected from the books. And I hope this isn't too spoilery, but she brought up a really great point, and that is she looks forward to her character having growth and being able to have some form of a redemption arc. And I was like, oh, that's so true. That will make certain events from later books that much more impactful. And so I do think that Rafe and his team are thinking ahead. I do think that they're saying maybe one day we'll return to the Two Rivers, and when that happens, we'll get to see how the village, how the people have been affected by that thing that happens. And so to me, it is very purposeful. Is it necessary? No, I don't think it is. I kind of am kind of more of a book purist in some ways, and I'm like, why not just stick with the books? I don't understand, but I'm looking forward to what they're going to do. One other thought that came to mind: we've talked so much about how this is another turning. It's just another turning of the wheel. There was a scene that I'm not going to get into details in the second episode where some things played out that were reminiscent of some things that happened in Barlone in the book. But as we know, Barlone is not in the show. I think that's well known. I really liked that alternate take of how that all went down, and I was very shocked by it, frankly. Like, that's what excited me, is I was like, this is another turning. Yes, it's similar, but also slightly different, and I wasn't expecting that to happen the way it did, and it really excited me because I'm like, what other things like this are going to happen where I'm kind of expecting it, but I'm not expecting it in that way? And so that really got me excited, but it also really hit that this is another turning for me. Like, this is not the same exact story from the books, and that's okay. Malkir's King.
But there are some parts
go
that
ahead,
they just take to the next level. Like, no spoilers, but Shadar Logoth.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. They did it amazing. So
Matt, you wanted to say something, and then Josh, you were going to say something.
I had three thoughts that have been percolating. The first is just to immediately respond to what you're saying about about another turning. If the feeling that I got after watching the first two episodes is that it's the same story, but it's not the same story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels like the Wheel of Time. The changes don't feel different. Like, it's obviously there are differences, but it doesn't feel like a different story. It feels like the same story. The second thing is in regards to the characters. First, I feel that all the casting is completely perfect. Like, they all resonate as their characters. The one that was the strongest to me was Zoe Robbins. Like she completely blew me away as Nynaeve. Just absolutely everything.
And she wasn't even in it that much, but when she was, she just brought it, didn't she? Yeah,
amazing.
Her relationship with Moraine, like, everything was just so spot on.
Yeah,
she just completely nailed the character. I remember when her casting was announced, Rafe made a comment that everybody saw her audition tape and they were like, "That's Nynaeve.
That's Nynaeve.
That's her."
And she didn't have to come in for chemistry readings, which is a big deal. Like, she just sent in a tape.
Right.
She was that good.
Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then just the very last thing that I had been thinking of was, and this is going back a little bit further, one of the things that I think, and I don't think this is particularly spoilery, but a long time ago when we were theorizing about whether they would do a season dump or whether they would do weekly releases, I was always hoping that they would do weekly releases, but I was saying that if they did it like The Witcher, then they'd have to do a season dump, because if you look at The Witcher, there's no real cliffhanger from episode to episode. It's just stories, and they kind of bounce back and forth. Whereas with like the Game of Thrones or other episodic shows that release weekly, you have to have a cliffhanger at the end of each episode to get everybody coming back. And I was not disappointed.
Agreed.
That there are cliffhangers at the ends of these episodes that are like, I want the next.
But to be fair, that's also how Robert Jordan did it. I mean, like, each chapter sort of ends with I gotta get more. I gotta read more. I thought that was great. Yes, exactly.
Read the whole book to find out.
All right.
If Rafe cuts a character from an entire season, I will riot.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, Josh, I know you wanted to say something, and then Ryan, we haven't heard from you for a little while. So, if you want to address this, you can, or you can just kind of, address what we've already been discussing. But there's just one question that someone said. They said, "How do you feel about the weekly format? Would you rather have the dump, or do you like the weekly format?" So, if you want to answer that, you can. But go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
So first off, I was just going to say Sarah Lee did drop another $10 donation.
Oh,
she is
thank you.
fire tonight.
Thank you so much.
The tag there, she just wanted to give us more money.
Oh,
thank you,
so nice.
Sarah Lee. You're amazing. You're the real
Many
MVP.
thanks.
And I am excited about a weekly drop. I'm excited that they gave us like a little bump at the front, and then they're going to give us a weekly because that's going to create. To me, that means we're going to get dialogue. We're going to get theories. We're going to get, people talking back and forth, and we're going to get
Water cooler talk. That's what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to get, and we're going to, and it's like we were saying earlier in the stream, is that it's just like waiting for the next book to come out.
Mhm.
Not nearly as long, but we're going to have our own, Dragon Mount forums and our own Tarvalon.net forums, and only, weekly.
Right.
Um,
Awesome.
And then the final thing is, we talk a lot about all the changes that are maybe a little bit controversial, but I feel like, and I'm not going to say anything specifically, but I do feel like there were some changes that were made that I was like, I like that better.
Yeah.
Like that was like
Yeah.
that. And so I feel like I just want to kind of accentuate or punctuate that and say there are changes that are actually like, oh, that works so well. It was really good.
Like when that person did the thing.
Oh, don't. Hey,
Oh,
yeah.
I love the thing.
Don't
That
even
was-
get me
that's
started.
exactly the one.
Or when that Trolloc ate that one person.
Oh man.
Oh,
Okay, so this is all okay. Well, Ryan, I know I want to give you a chance to talk, but I want to say something about the Trollocs. So that might be a little bit more spoilery, but we'll get there. Ryan, how do you feel?
How do I feel? Currently, I can't believe that there's like 320 people watching, and that just shows how
Wow.
excited we all are. This is mind blowing. Thank you for doing this, Lauren.
Thank you
Really,
guys for
thank you-
being here.
Thank
This
you
has been
everyone for
fun.
watching, and if you haven't hit that like button, there's many more likes need to be happening right now.
Hey, no dislikes. That's a first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can I just ask it? Can we everyone a show of hands who cried?
I wanted to cry, but I didn't have anything left in me.
Takes a lot to make land cry.
Like I said, I was still
One
crying
needs
the
to
next
make
morning.
flowers grow there.
Were you moved?
Yes.
Me?
Did you? Yeah. I'm kidding.
Yes, I was super excited.
When you okay, so you experienced it as excitement. I had this incredible nostalgia feeling that just washed over me from the moment it started. Even though I've been analyzing these trailers and dissecting everything like everybody else, the moment it started, and I let myself immerse myself in the experience, I was just moved to tears. These are the characters I love, and I'm getting emotional right now. We grow. I'm here for the characters, and I want to convince everyone who hasn't seen it or reassure everyone that they're doing a great job.
Yes.
And the essence of not maybe the storyline, but the essence of the world and the essence of the characters are there in full force. And we will, and there's so much room for growth. like it's amazing. So yeah, I'm so hopeful, and I think everyone is. I think this is the type of show that's gonna like help the world be a better place.
I hope so.
You know
thank
what?
you. I love that.
You know what's really
100% agree.
pathetic is that like I started tearing up at a scene where there was just two dudes and a horse, and that was it. And I was just like,
I think one of the coolest things, and Alyssa and I talked about this after we came out of the screening, just where we kind of bridged into the topic of our visceral reactions. One of the things I loved, and I won't say when or where or whatever, but there was a point in the show where the whole theater was stomping and clapping along with the song.
Oh
and it
yeah, that was cool.
You guys
Oh,
are going to just.
oh.
I gasped. I cried. It just.
yeah.
It's
My
true.
wife was crying at that part, and she had not even read the books before.
So I want to talk a little bit about that. There were some surprises.
yeah.
There were some surprising moments that I wasn't expecting. There were things that I was hoping to see from the books that I assumed would just not make it in. And that thing that you're hinting at, it was one of them. And when it happened, it was phenomenal. And it was a surprise to me because the way it was done was different from the book, but still great. And And then they did a little feature animation thing afterwards that enhanced that even more. I can't wait
Oh,
to see
yeah.
more of those little animated shorts that they did.
I'm
So
gonna watch them
cool.
all.
I also want to be involved in those, man. So cool, so fun. I need to wrap this up pretty soon here. I could literally talk about this all night, and I want to, but my kids are probably dying upstairs. So
Somebody made a donation. Eric Nilsson made a donation with a question: how was the title treatment?
So that's actually, thank you for reminding me. That's one of the things that was
Aces.
so surprising. So a lot of people don't know this, but most TV shows don't have a title sequence in the pilot. Usually they save that for future episodes. And so but I was still hoping for one. And so when we didn't get it in the first episode, I was a little disappointed because that's like kind of what I do for a living, is that kind of thing. And so I was kind of like, man, I wanted to see a really cool like Game of Thrones map title sequence or something. Then when it happened in episode 2, it was so phenomenal. I don't want to give any spoilers. I want everyone to go into it totally just knowing that it was awesome.
So amazing.
My question to you guys,
Gorgeous.
in Game of Thrones, the intro changed every episode depending on the locations that they would visit in the show. Do you think that the way this title, because the way this thing was built, it absolutely lends to that, where they could actually have it different and have different iconography? Wouldn't that be amazing if they...
I hope so, but I also need to research to find out more details about the things we saw.
Yeah, we
in
need
it.
to be able to watch it
Agreed.
again.
That's one of the things I can't wait to pick apart frame by frame. Yeah.
My guess is that they are going to do that because of how much attention to detail they've paid.
Yeah.
And like the smallest things. I noticed a change in the first book that one character does, that it's not even like something that's different from what he did in the books, but it's a change in the overall books that has repercussions to 6 books down.
Oh, awesome.
5 books down. And I was like, oh my God.
Will you please point that out to me in personal message later?
Yeah. So I will point that out to you later. But like, it's like you look at that and you're like, they know what they're doing. Like 6 seasons in advance, or 6 books in advance. It's the attention to detail is so phenomenal.
I agree.
That I can't imagine they would not take advantage of something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And regarding the title sequence in particular, I wonder if it'll be like a season thing, where we'll have the same title sequence for the whole season, but then, because like Doctor Who and some other shows do that, where it's different each season, but it kind of has the themes of the season. I think Westworld does that as well. Either way, that's one of the things I'm most excited to break down in more detail, and hopefully to see changes and iterations over time.
I think you could do it even if it keeps the overall structure, and kind of like modify it depending on like you were saying, Matt, like how Game of Thrones does the location, for without saying what it was, I was reminiscent of this is just kind of like overlaid montage of video of people in the West Wing, but like you could definitely tell going into it if somebody wasn't going to be in an episode, or if something wasn't going to get covered, or just the general gist of it based on like the changes that they made to the opening sequence. And I think that the way that they did this, they could do that really well. And then even if they didn't, it would still be amazing.
I agree. That's great, man. There's so many. How does Matt do this every week? There's so many things to handle. Got to like deal with chat and everything. Thank you,
Taylor.
He does have a Taylor. That's true. Pedro Nile, thank you. Your thoughts on the soundtrack incorporated into the show. We'll talk about that, but I forgot about the raffle. I was gonna do like more raffles, and I totally forgot. So let's pick a winner, shall we? It's been. I hope the raffle still works.
I love you, Lauren. That's amazing.
It's here somewhere. Okay, here we go. I got it here. I probably have. If you, by the way, you know what? Since some of you may have come in late and don't even know there is a raffle, make sure you type !raffle. I'll give you 1 minute
right now
while we answer the question about music. So I have to say, someone asked me, what was the music during the title sequence? And I cannot for the life of me remember. I was too overwhelmed by the visuals. And I felt the music in the show was good. There was another one of those surprising moments. There was a song that I was not expecting that totally made my heart melt, and it was so wonderful. And I love how that was incorporated. So I can't wait for people to react to that. But overall, there were a few points when I think I turned to Alyssa and I was being that annoying guy, like, oh, did you hear the music? I actually felt that they incorporated the sort of singing in Lauren Balfe's soundtrack really well, and it worked very well. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Two
It
thumbs
wasn't
up,
overwhelming,
10 out
but
of
you
10.
could, yeah.
Yeah, it's so great that we have like an original soundtrack and that it's got like unique voices
Yeah.
and sound. I'm looking forward to that expanding as the show.
It's not just
progresses.
traditional sound. It's not a traditional soundtrack. It has unique instruments, unique tonality,
Right.
and that just gives it that extra feel of this is not a typical fantasy world. This is a
Mhm.
completely different
Yeah.
environment that you've not experienced before. I love
Absolutely.
it.
Well, one thing that I did wonder about, and this is not a spoiler, but just maybe because it was a preview or something like that, and we didn't see end credits, right? It would smash to black at the end, right?
Oh, we saw
Of each
some.
one.
We saw credits.
Did you?
We did, but I think it
Um,
was at the end, like
Yep, yep,
after
yep.
all the behind the
After
scenes and
animation
everything.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was when I was like out having to do the hosting stuff and talking to the people and things
Yeah.
like that. So I
I
missed
thought that was a
that
nod to
last
Dusty Wheel.
bit. What?
I said I thought that was a nod to the Dusty Wheel. You know, the Smash to Black.
Yeah, the Smash to
maybe,
Black,
maybe.
right?
But there was
and
not
so I
music
was
playing
wondering-
over it.
Right. And so I was wondering if a way that they highlight a song per episode, because remember we were talking about like when El Nido first came out, and then people were saying like it'll probably be in the scene with the Amaryllis Beat because that's what it's about. Like, so like whenever we get to that episode, whenever that is, the music was woven into the scenes, but not to a point where you could like really make out the lyrics, except for one point that I remember where I was like, oh, look, they're singing the old tongues. Like I haven't listened to the whole soundtrack yet. Well, I have, like, while I've been doing other stuff, it looped in the back of my head, but not like just full on, just pay attention to that.
Well, and that's only part
so-
one, right? There's more to come.
Yeah. And so I was wondering if the way that they'll do it is, a unique song at the end, for the end credits, where you really showcase the one song, like without other distracting visuals and things like that.
This brings up a good point. We haven't technically seen the first two episodes exactly as they will be on Amazon because we did miss the end credits. We potentially missed some music. One of the things that I was going to talk about is that ridiculous Winespring Inn breakdown video that I did and how nitpicky I was about all the continuity issues.
You mean that fabulous video?
Well,
This gut-wrenching expose.
Yeah, this may be a little spoilery, but I was surprised to find that it was basically shot for shot identical in the show. I was expecting way more in it. I was expecting it to be expanded more. However, I think I missed one or two shots, and to me, there's some significance there. So I can't wait to go back and watch the episode because I have some things to say about that in my deep dive video that I will one day release. Okay, raffle. Let's get to the raffle, and then
Raffle.
Then let's do
Raffle,
this
raffle,
every
raffle.
night for the next 6 years.
Yes.
There's too much to talk about.
6 years? It's going to be longer than that. How
I
many
hope
seasons
so.
did
I
they
hope
make?
so.
6
Okay.
years for the first season.
So I'm going to pick a winner. Are you guys ready? I think I can just do it.
Drum roll.
Benjamin Forceline, you are the winner. That may actually not come out through chat until a bit later. Hey,
There
hooray,
it is.
congratulations. And you know what?
Congratulations.
I made that go on way too long. We're going to just do another one. I'm
You'll
gonna,
get something cool.
Oh, bonus winner.
Another one. Another one.
if I can figure out how.
Wait, did you get 2 books? Have you thought about the prize?
The next prize will be an Unraveling the Pattern merch item of your choosing. I have
wanna
And
enter?
he-
I have
he
sweaters
will
and-
wash it after he wears it, so don't worry.
I will wear it first.
Yeah,
I'll
Benjamin
sweat all
comes in
over
with
it.
a Let's go. Let's go, Benjamin.
Hey, yes, you even answered.
Yay!
Thank you, my lord. He says that's weird, but okay, you're welcome.
It's the beard.
Okay, I'm gonna reopen the
Regal
giveaway.
AF.
I don't know if this is gonna work. Will it reopen? Oh, I see. I'll hit complete. I'll go back. I should be more prepared. And where's Taylor when you need him? Add giveaway,
everyone needs a
England.
Taylor.
custom.
Maybe
Gotta
my
get your
jet
kids
lag.
on it, Lauren. Start it
Seriously,
young.
come on, guys.
Put those
So
kids to
everybody
work.
do raffle right now.
Well,
Exclamation
raffle.
point
Did it-
raffle.
Well, did it start back up? I'm not sure it did.
I don't
It
know.
looks like- I don't know. There's a lot of iRaffle going on, but they're not getting the whole Streamlabs.
Yeah, it says it. It says
There's a raffle
you'll get
for
Streamlabs
something
not
cool.
acknowledging him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Raffles.
I don't think it's populating. Guys, give me a second.
Guys, hold on.
I'll make a new one.
Slow
I'll make a new
down.
one. This is
That's
why we love live
now
streams.
Now it's seeing.
Giveaway.
There we go.
Everybody's
two.
still doing it.
Well, we are a little behind on the.
It says you'll get something
Yeah.
cool.
You'll get something cool to add.
So this is the
Start
lag that
giveaway.
Matt talks about on the Dusty Wheel.
Yeah.
Why he never knows who the winner is long after the chat does.
Yeah, there's like a
It's like almost 30
bit of a
seconds.
delay. Save. Why does it say start giveaway? All prizes must be assigned to start another giveaway. I thought I did assign it.
While the raffle's going on and these details, I just want to say you guys are going to be so happy.
I
It's
agree.
incredible. I'm a little bit.
Yeah,
lost for
all
words
those very
constantly.
minor concerns aside, like pacing or whatever, because we're book lovers, it really was amazing. I gauge how much I love a movie or TV show on how much I think about it afterwards. And I'm a little obsessed with Wheel of Time, so that's a part of it. But I can't stop thinking about it. There are so many little moments that pop up in my head, and I'm like, oh yeah, wasn't that great when that thing happened? And so to me, that's the
So
sign of
good.
a good, a well written or at least a engaging show. So I just realized I could just keep clicking pick winner, and it will pick someone new. So I can't say that word. Philosophical solipsist. Congratulations, you won something. Let's pick another
Yeah, that
winner.
guy.
Philosophical solace.
Pick a winner. Evan Hopwell, you won. I love you, Evan. You're the best.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Hey,
You
we're
got-
just as excited for all the other winners too.
I'm just gonna pick 5 more winners. I'm feeling generous. I'm feeling excited.
Yes.
Keep track.
Pick a winner. It keeps
Oh my
track
God!
for me.
This
It
is the
makes it
giveaway
easy.
bonanza.
I don't know how to say that. Chile Odell. Congratulations. If you won, just please reach out to me through Discord or Twitter, and I will hook you up with something cool. Let's do 4 more. Pick a winner.
Oh great! Philosophical solistic said, "Oh great."
I just realized I unintentionally kept people here throughout the entire stream because I started the raffle right at the beginning. And they were like, "Am I gonna win or not?"
You're a
So,
marketing
brilliant.
genius.
Unintentionally.
Theo Goosens, congratulations! You won something cool.
Yay!
Pick another winner. Noel G. Congratulations, Noel G.
Just giving them away. You get a prize.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get a
4, 5,
prize.
Well, no,
6.
you're getting specifically something cool, which could be like an ice pack.
Frozen peas.
Any sort of like
yeah,
lobster.
just because you won doesn't
Frozen
mean
peas.
Jeremy Hacker, you are our final winner. Jeremy Hacker, congratulations.
But he already knew that.
We're gonna start giving away Lauren's Wheel of Time.
Oh,
Yeah, I do. So, I just realized I have it right here. This is the book that I got. So that's the first winner.
You
Get
all
that?
have to share it.
And
Yeah,
and then
pass around.
then once you finish reading it, you'll need to ship it to the second winner, and so on. No, the rest of you look through my
crease
merch
the
store.
spine.
It's linked in on YouTube. If you have trouble finding it, reach out to me, and I'll let you pick something, and we'll get it
Someone's
shipped to
asking,
you.
where do we reach out? Someone in chat says where.
Discord or Twitter. All that information should be in the description. If I'm not,
Chile.
is it in the description? I don't know because I can't see it right now. Yeah, it's all there. It's in the description. My contact info. You can reach out to me in any of those ways. Thank you guys so much for being here. What an awesome experience. We may be less than a day away from seeing the 3rd episode and then being able to share all these thoughts with everybody. I'm so excited. Thank you guys. You're the best. Real quick, each of you tell us where we can find you, starting with Ryan. Where can we find you on the
Over
internet?
at the Way the Leaf channel, and I would love for some people to jump over. We're 5 away from 900, so if
That's
we could
amazing.
get some sort of
definitely go
unraveling
subscribe
bump,
there.
we are basically turning into a variety channel. We host Watchinary, which is a once a month Pictionary style game show you will not want to miss out. That's always super fun. We do a Sunday spoiler filled show called Tavern Talk, and we have guests from the community coming on. And on Tuesdays, we have a first time reader show. Also, I host a show called What You Feeling, which is a mental health examination of the Wheel of Time with actual mental health experts, me being one of them.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
and Ryan does this with his brother Dan, and the
Thank you.
banter,
whoops.
the banter between the two of you is so much fun. Your guests are always a blast. I want to get on Watchinary soon.
Oh, we'll get
Someday
you
when
on
my
for sure.
schedule allows it, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, little known fact is that Lauren was our first live stream guest ever.
And I had a puppet. and
You had
I
a
and I
puppet. Do
threw
you have
out my
him? Where is
back.
it?
I threw out my back for
Yeah,
like
you did.
a month after because I was like doing this from an awkward angle. I found
That
out
was
too late.
amazing.
You need to like lay on a pillow or something. I don't know how you hold your arm up for so long.
It's
been amazing.
it's a it's a secret. Trade secret.
That was
It's
a lot
lifestyle.
of fun. You guys should
Yeah,
go check that out.
thanks for having me, Lauren.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
Brother
Thank you so
Dan
much.
is my co-partner. We have several people who are part of the Way to Leave. We'd love your support. Thanks.
Thank you. Josh, where can we find you?
I am Josh from the Black Tower Podcast. I co-host with Daniel and Andrew. The three Mahales come at you. We give you the weekly dose of taint and madness. It's great. If you want to follow all of our social medias, we would really love that. We are at blacktowerpod.com. You can go there and everything's there. Our social media is there. Our merch shop is there. Our Discord, everything. So come see us.
You guys are. I love the banter between you guys as well. You play off of each other so well. It's so much fun.
Thank you.
And another thing, after I released my first video, the Black Tower Podcast was the first like other source to reach out to me and be like, "Hey, do you want to be on our show?" And I was like, "Wait, I can be on a podcast?" I was so shocked by that. And I got to be on a podcast with Rebecca from Reading the Pattern and John from What Up, and it was such a cool experience. And I was like, "I'm in a podcast now." And so thank you guys so much for inviting me to that all those months ago. That was an awesome experience.
We loved having you, and thank you for making our ridiculously awesome like animated intros.
Oh yeah, that was fun. My fingerprints on like all of the content creators a little bit, isn't it? That's funny.
Great.
The Way of the Leaf
Yep.
too. I did your animations.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
there's a whole story. I don't want to take up too much time for sure.
That's funny. Alyssa, where can we find you?
Well, I mean, I'm just really an imposter here right now.
Oh, you're
I'm just
amazing.
a fan. Yeah, I'd won Power Ballads. I've been doing the Wheel of Time parody songs, and I'm going to keep doing covers and original songs too, because I just love music and I love the Wheel of Time. So that's what you're going to get.
And it's such a
And
great blend.
yeah, I mean, again, I feel ridiculous being with you guys. You're all fantastic, and you've been, doing this for a long time and supporting the community so much, and just super grateful to be here.
Thank you so much. It was so great seeing you in Denver and having you as quickly as we were on stage and off. Having you there co-hosting with me was really fun. So thank you
so much.
Matt, tell us, where can we find you?
I mean, right now I'm right here.
Found you. That was easy.
Yeah, I don't hide very well. Yeah, the best place to find me is really just on Twitter at Malkier's King. I post everything I do on there, whether it's directly on Twitter, live on Twitter, or from my YouTube channel. Everything goes onto Twitter.
Yeah, and speaking of firsts, when I jumped on Twitter of Time, it was like, maybe I'll share my first video, get the word out a little. I didn't know what Twitter of Time was really. And you were the very first person to reach out to me through Twitter messaging. And now I've come to find out you're kind of one of the big welcomers of the community.
Yes, he is.
Which is so awesome. You're so great on Twitter. And I appreciated some of those early conversations I had with you where you were like, so what do you do? How did you learn to do this stuff? And you shared with me some of your After Effects work. That was a lot of fun. So
it was a lot of fun.
I look forward to continuing to work with you in the future on some upcoming projects as well. So
likewise.
Thank you.
Your
so
stuff
much.
is amazing.
Thank you. And Rob, who are you?
I am the Weekly Wheel News, Ramland's only reliable news source. Don't listen to this puppet here.
No, what?
Wherever he is.
Dark friend.
And if you don't believe it, you're a dark friend. So we are on, you can find the issues and all the back issues at thegreatblight.com. Repository for all sorts of great Wheel of Time content there. And mostly engage on Twitter with folks. That's where I go to first to get the word out. But I have recently started doing some video work, and like Lauren was saying, he made an intro for me, and it took about a year for me to roll it out. And Matt Malkier's King was my first anchorman, and so he's officially my first employee.
Yep.
Funny, I get messages from him all the time. Hey, boss, blah blah blah. So that's been a lot of fun, and so I just started the YouTube channel just a little bit ago. There's not very many people there yet, so go check it out. And just recently also started putting those things on TikTok, much to the embarrassment of my teenagers.
That's why you do it. That's why you do it.
You should see Rob dance.
And if you don't believe that, you're a dark friend.
You're a dark
That's
friend.
right.
I gotta say a couple things, Rob. One of the things I want to do for your channel is take all your wonderful headlines from all your previous issues and just make like a rolling ticker that goes at the
That'd
bottom.
be so awesome.
So when you're doing your new stuff, it's just going across and people can read all that because there's so many great one-liners
That'd be
in there.
great.
And another thing, like before I actually talked to you in person, well, not in person, but online, I saw that you and I have a lot of similar interests. We like a lot of the same music. They Might Be Giants is one of
They
my
Might Be
favorite
Dark
bands.
Friends.
They Might Be, and seeing you seeing some of the things you post on Twitter, I'm like, is this guy my like best friend that I'd never met? Like, it was crazy how much we have in common, how many different things we like that are the same. So you guys are all just so wonderful. Thank you for being here. Thank you all in
you.
chat and those who stuck around to watch. I hope that we eased some of your concerns and got you excited, and I hope that we didn't spoil anything.
Well, they did.
Friday,
Yeah.
you guys, it's happening. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday.
Maybe
We're
tomorrow,
not totally
yeah.
sure.
So
I
shoot-
love you all.
Yeah.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let's keep doing this for years and years to come, and let's smash to gray or something. I
Or
don't know.
smash
What
to
would you-
red, I was going to say.
Smash to red. I'm already so pink. Smash to red. All right, let's do it. Ready? On three, we'll say smash to red. 1, 2, 3.